Good day everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Ibrahim Diallo and this is the third installment of how to create a website from scratch. Now, in part 1 and part 2 we did the most basic things. Well, not just basic, but they're the most important parts, which is to create the actual blog post and create the main design, like a simple design. Just all we did basically was present something to the users. So right away, well, it can be consumed by users. So yeah, we have the basic, and now we're going to finally add some PHP to our code to make it more dynamic and easier to develop in the future. You might notice first it looks a little complicated, but you'll quickly see the benefits of using a language like PHP over just coding everything in HTML. All right, so let's get started right away. Okay, so as you can see, we're using Ubuntu now. We moved from Windows. I'm more comfortable writing or developing on Ubuntu. So anyway, so I'm gonna get started right away. I'm not gonna show you exactly how to install Ubuntu. I have a blog post. If you're following, you can see that on my blog. You can look for this article. I'll provide a link below. Yeah, I'll give you basic information how to install Apache and PHP. These are two things we're going to need. Apache is the web server and PHP is the programming language. So once it's installed, you can have something like that. You see when I write just localhost, I see my website. That's served directly from my computer. Yes, from this folder path. There's a few things you might need to install, like for example, when you install PHP, you'll have to install an extra library to connect it with Apache, and also it'll be a good idea to install MySQL since we're going to be using it in the future. Not now, but just install it. All right, so yeah, let's get started with setting up everything, because as you remember, our website is plain HTML, and when we open it, it opens, we see the file path all the way to that actual folder where we saved it. So here's what I did. I imported I zipped the whole content of the file into this machine, and now I'm gonna expand it and just use that one. Anyway, so as you can see here, I use Eclipse Luna. Is basically another editor. I recently started using this one. I used to use Zend Studios, but anyway, it crashed on me. It doesn't want to work. You can also use Sublime on this part. There's no, yeah, just use whatever you want as long as you can edit stuff. I use Eclipse because it allows me to use it with SVN easily. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, yeah, this is my current blog. You can see some of the code in there before I remove it. Yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna do the same procedure. We're gonna create a new folder, and that's from where we're gonna be coding basically. I like to use the editor to just create the folder because it adds some extra files in there just to make it easy to use PHP. Like you'll add some autocomplete and some extra features like that. But yeah, anyway, so I created a folder, and now I'm gonna use the blog stuff that we created earlier, which I will provide, by the way, and just gonna paste it directly here. And as you can see, I always use a folder called either HTML or web, and that's the front facing part of our website. And all these files that we're gonna be using are gonna be directly accessible through the browser. So when you go to www.scratchblog.com, it's gonna be these files that it's going to access. So yeah, anyway, currently we're accessing it from just the local files, and I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna copy it to our new I copied it to our new folder already, but we need to set up a few things before we can get it ready. We're gonna have to put that in a server that we can serve basically. I'm gonna put it on my www folder under var www, and I'm gonna create a folder called scratch. This is how I like to set up my my web server. Yeah, I made a mistake there. I'm gonna redo that. But actually, I didn't make a mistake. I'm just very particular. Like you can see under scratch, I have like two forward slashes, and yeah, I'm gonna remove that and just make sure there's one at the end. It's not a problem, but you know, some people like me, we just can't deal with that. Anyway, yeah, I'm recreating it the same folder again without the extra scratch slash. What am I talking about? There you go. Now we have a folder, and it's just a symlink, like a shortcut in for Windows users. And from there, we're gonna connect it to our actual folder where the code is. And also, I'm gonna add another host entry. As you can see, I have many websites running from this computer. I just use them for testing. So yeah, I'm gonna add www.scratchblog.com. Of course, that website is already taken, but since we're gonna be running it locally, it doesn't matter. Actually, I'm gonna test it to see what's currently out there at scratchblog.com. Just gonna comment out the change I made and see what they have under scratchblog.com. Okay, it goes to hugedomains.com and it costs $2,500. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not getting that. Yeah. Anyway, well, we're going to be serving it locally, so we don't care how it's called. We're going to call it Scratch Blog once I finish setting it up. But for now, yeah, let's just move on. The next thing to do should be to set up Apache now, because I already have, I set up the host entry. When we go to scratchblog.com, it points to this computer, but there's nothing there right now. So I'm going to go and edit my Scratch blog folder to be supported under Apache. That's very easy. You just go to adding scratchblog.com. Unfortunately, when I was setting up, I completely forgot about something. I forgot how the virtual host file is supposed to look like. So yeah, I don't know. So I go to my blog again. I wrote about this before, so I go back to this, to one of those articles, I think. It's supposed to be create a website, your website. I think on part 2, I actually give an example of how a virtual host is supposed to look like. And let's see, right here. Right, I'm just gonna start typing that. So virtual host, and have all this nice information in there. And yeah, these are things I never memorize. I mean, I memorize as much. I mean, if I see one, I know where things are broken, or I can write things by myself. But it's kind of hard to memorize everything. So I always like to keep, like, I have some documents that I keep in there that I can always refer to, or I just go back to my blog and copy it. Or I could have just went to my other, because you see, I'm serving many websites from this computer, and I could have just gone and copy from there. But anyway, just like wanted to show you, like I just wanted to show you something that you too can do. So I went to my website. You can see it right there. I have a blog post creating a website from scratch. No, not creating, just creating a website, part 2, using WordPress. And yeah, I have this information over there. Okay, I'm gonna try to make this too available. This way you can go out there and create your own. So one thing that I forgot to do is I updated to the latest version of Ubuntu, and with the newest version of Apache, you have to name your files .conf. And as you can see, I'm kind of struggling here. I didn't know what is happening. When I access the page, it just gives me back my default, and it doesn't want to work. And when I try to enable the site, it says that the site does not exist. And that was kind of painful. It took me a minute to remember what was the problem. And yeah, well, eventually I did. And yeah, well, you can see me still struggling. I need to fast forward this. But that's a good thing, because you can see these are things we always forget. And it takes a while before you just like burn this into your head to remember that, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. Anyway, so yeah, I guess, wow, I thought I did it faster than this, but no, I did not. So you can see me, I'm restarting the server again, thinking it should work, but it's not working. It's not working. So I paused the video and fixed it eventually. Anyway, yeah, so I realized that you have to add .conf at the end. Yep, and that works. Yeah, good. So now I just restart the server and we should be seeing stuff happening. There you go, create a website from scratch. Scratchblog.com. And it gives us this. Amazing, right? Anyway, so now we have PHP and Apache set up, and we can start doing some actual coding. I'm just testing the different pages to make sure everything is here. And I think everything is here. Okay, finally we can start using PHP. We're going to start by creating an index.php and converting the other pages as post1.php, post2.php, and about.php. When we add the PHP extension, when we access those pages, they're actually processed. Like right now, we don't see any difference yet because the content is still the same. I just changed the extension. But we can try to see how we can modify them to make them useful to us now. So I'm going to start by creating a new folder here for includes. So basically, I don't like serving all my files. Only the files that are available in the web folder will be available through the URL. The rest will be inside like another folder, like includes. And as you can see, I'm creating one file called header.php, and the header will of course contain the header. I'm gonna create another one called HTML head that will have all the stuff that are inside the head, the title and this type of thing. It's all gonna be in there. So basically now we're gonna have it on only one file will contain that information, and we're gonna be reusing it everywhere. I'm also creating another file called nav for the navigation, and let's see, we have header HTML head. Oh, we're also gonna have one for the footer. That way, because these are static things that are not gonna change really from page to page. So I'm gonna put them in their own separate file, and inside each template, which like here for example, I'm gonna include the HTML head, which is inside the includes folder. That will automatically be replaced now when we access the page. Here we're gonna have a header, then we're gonna have the navigation, and in the bottom we're gonna have the footer. Okay, so now if I access this page, well, nothing changes. If we look at the source, we see all our content in there just the way it's supposed to be. So basically the server processed each of these includes and then combined them all at the end. So you see now we can do the exact same thing on post 2 and also inside the other file called, about.php. So yeah, we do the footer and the headers, and that's it. Now, if we want to make a change somewhere, we can only change, for example, the navigation, and it's going to change on every single file. For example, under navigation, the about me has a link, this about.html, and we're going to fix that. We're going to, you see, it says not found. So we're going to fix that. We're going to go inside the navigation folder, master nav file, change the links to be about.php and home index.php for the home page. And now it's going to reflect everywhere. So when I click, it takes me to the about page. Yeah. So that's the big advantage of using PHP or any other programming language for that matter. It makes it simpler to make changes. Hopefully in the future we're gonna be able. I'm gonna show you things that are more like when we want to do more complex stuff, how to deal with it. Anyway, so I'm gonna create a new page for the default page, index.php. My goal is to have that page have all the posts, like every single thing you wrote. Let's say, for example, the last 10 posts. We're gonna have that. So I'm gonna start first by making the title modular. Anyway, yeah, I created a variable called page title, and I set it. I can set it in every single file, so each file can have its own titles basically. And from there, we can hold on. That's post 2, and we're gonna call that part 2. And we go inside that. Yeah, also sorry about us, about me. Okay, look at the title now. It's called creating a website. So I'm gonna go inside the header and make use of that new variable, and page is called page title. And now when I refresh the page, you see that the title is about me. And here it's called creating a website from scratch. Part 2. Yeah. That will be very hard to do with HTML. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna also try to separate the articles to make them, put them in their own folder basically. I'm just gonna give a quick name here. Just made this 001 create. So all these ones, all these series, we're gonna call them create. So 001 will be the first. So here I can remove all the article section, and just include that file, create. It'll be include, and then articles, and 001 create.php. So that's going to be included, including this file now. Well, from here we don't see any difference, and we don't see the benefit immediately, but just keep watching. You're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure all the articles are done the same way. Not so sure about the about, if I need to do that. I think about doesn't need to be like that. Okay, just the second article. Okay. Little formatting here. So they look exactly the same. But here's the advantage. When I go to the home page now, oh yeah, just wanted to do part 1. Okay, if I go to the home page now, I can include those files to make sure, like to see what do you call? Yeah, so now I can include all the files on the home page. So I'm gonna do article 1 called 001, and then 002. And then I'm just going to put a little separator there. I'm just going to create a class I can modify later. So when I go to the home page now, you see I have all the articles. I have the first one on top, and then the second one at the bottom. And my goal was to make them clickable, so it takes you to the page that I actually show them. First, I'm going to style this little divider really quick. Yeah. Since the CSS is organized, it's pretty easy to do. I just go into the section for the articles and just make that possible. And that's it really. Oh, one thing that well, I should do, but like here I'm just getting like a quick solution on the fly. Just a way to click on it. It's gonna appear on the bottom. It's not gonna be very pretty, but anyway, it's just a way for us to be able to click on that and to take us to the page. Yeah. So when I refresh, I have this little link. I'm gonna center it. Just gonna call it permalink for now. I put it in the bottom because my article is not modular enough yet, but that should be solved pretty soon. Maybe I'll do that on the next series. For now, I'm just going to have a permalink. So from there, you can click, and then it takes you to the page. And yeah. Anyway, so you see, the benefit of these things are not seen immediately when it's a small site. Because, you know, we could hardcode all this in HTML. Actually, that's what we did in the beginning. But once you have something like 100 articles and you want to manage all of them, it's going to be pretty hard. Let's say you want to do a redesign. You have to go through every single file and then make sure you copy and paste the right things in there. That's going to be hard. Anyway, so you can see here, I'm just trying to like wrote some little code to decide if it's the home page to have on the navigation to have home selected. I mean, you're going to see right now. Yeah, it's going to set the link to active, or if it's about us, it's going to set that to active. Just going to look a little different. Let me finish this here, and then we're going to see how it looks like. I'm going to do some on about page. All right, so on about is selected, and if you go home is selected. That looks cool. Yeah, so our blog is getting somewhere now. It's looking prettier, I must say. Anyway, that's it for today. We started using PHP and we created something amazing. It looks, at least I think it looks nice. Now, every time we add a new file, a new blog post, which hopefully we'll do on the next episode, it's gonna be pretty easy to add. All we have to do is add let's say post 3 and add 003 create, and then write a blog post over there. And that's it, really. We don't need to make any other changes. We don't need to touch the header or the navigation or anything like that. And it looks like it's going to be much easier, especially when we start having more and more content. Yeah, and so that's the power of PHP. It's simple. Like, it doesn't look like we're doing something really fancy, but that's all it is, really. If you look at even big websites, that's what they do, but there's just so many different modules that make it seem more complex. Anyway, with all we did, we still haven't touched JavaScript, and I did that on purpose. I'm not using JavaScript yet because most of the time we use JavaScript for the wrong reasons, but I want to make sure that we only start using it when we need it, and we're gonna get there anyway. All right, so thank you for watching. This was episode 3. Again, my name is Ibrahim Diallo. Feel free to subscribe to be able to follow the series. I'm gonna try to finish those as quick as I can, and hopefully they won't be too boring. So yeah, anyway, yeah, don't forget to also click on that like button to keep me going, to know that people are actually interested in this. All right, I'm out for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you later.